All right, good evening. Today is Monday, June 14, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education. Do I have a motion to open the meeting? Cynthia, second. Lori, all in favor? All right, great. We're just going to go into executive session for a short 30-minute executive session. We'll be back out at 7:30 for the public meeting. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Cynthia, second. Lori, all in favor? All right, great. Thank you.
Unless he's really ready.
All right, good evening. Today is Monday, June 14, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education. We actually opened the meeting at 7 o'clock, about half an hour ago. We went into executive session briefly, and now we're back. So the meeting's already open. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's really nice to have a lot of folks in the audience. Usually this place is pretty quiet. It's kind of weird. Balloons, and cupcakes, it's great. But a lot of good things to celebrate tonight. We're really excited about some of the stuff on the agenda. So we'll start off with comments by the board. Usually I go last, but I'm going to go first tonight. I wanted to maybe provide the community with a little brief sort of state of the board, being this is the last meeting of the regular school year. And then we'll be going into the summer season, and I don't think the community usually pays too much attention to what we're doing in the summer, rightfully so, because they're enjoying the summer and the break. So I figured I'd just kind of give a little recap. And also on the heels of last week, we had our workshop, and Dr. Goodman gave a really good recap of the goals, the successes of this year, and everything that's been accomplished despite COVID. So I thought it was kind of appropriate for me to maybe just give you a little bit of board perspective and an overview of how I think we've sort of played a role. And our role, obviously, is very minor. We're volunteers, we're part-timers. We play a very, very minor role in the actual execution of what's been done. But we do play a little bit of a role, and I think it's good to kind of highlight that a little bit. So I want to just start by saying, too, we have a strategic plan, but what really drives that plan, I think, and what's universal about this board and about where we're all on the same page on, is our desire to elevate this district from a very, very good district to a great district. And that may not seem like a novel concept, but I no disrespect to any previous boards that have been here before, but I do think for years there was sort of a sense of complacency a little bit, or a little bit of, hey, we're the best we can kind of be academically because we're small, and we have some economically challenged folks in our district, and this is the best we could do. We don't accept that as a board. We do not accept that. We think we're sitting on gold here in terms of our size, in terms of our financial situation and our diversity. We think we could be a hell of a lot better. Not that we're not very good, we are, but we could be better. And that's kind of the driving force, I think, on this board, and is everything that we kind of, where we come from, the place that we come from. So with that, COVID was talked a lot about. We obviously didn't do the lion's share of the work. With regard to COVID, our job really was to support the superintendent and help her realign the resources as she needed to, help her make those additional hires for aides in the class, and support that and fund that. So that was sort of our role. And then consistently, we were pounding the drum all along to try and get as much in-person instruction as an option for our community as we can, as fast as we can. That's been the steady drum that this board has put forth the entire year, and the superintendent and the administration responded to without a doubt, and that was highlighted last year. So that's pretty much COVID. Strategic plan, again, just helping with the resources and giving our input and giving our feedback along the way, which has always been listened to, which we're grateful for. But really, that was highlighted a lot last week. Mostly done by, of course, the administration. Another subtle thing I wanted to highlight that I think this board has done a great job at, and I just want to, bring some more. What's more of a subtle one is our support of the superintendent's search for administrators, the gaps that we had, the interims that we had. As many of you may know, we've taken some criticism as a district in the last couple of years for there being a high turnover in administration. And it's something we've been setting out to try and fix and get a little more stability. And I think what we have been saying as a board, and the superintendent has been following, is take your time with these hires. Don't rush it. We're not happy, but we're fine with staying with an interim for a little longer of a period of time to get the right person. I think in the past, maybe there was a sense of pressure to fill these spots. And I think that, my opinion is that's probably what contributed to some of the instability. So I think what we've done as a board is give the superintendent top cover on and help message that, hey, take your time, hire the right people. If it takes a little more time than usual, that's fine. And a good example of that is the special ed director who they think we've been searching for over a year, and now we have a great candidate that we're going to be hopefully approving tonight. We'll be approving tonight. So that's a subtle way I think this board has made a difference. And then budget, helping work with the budget and getting that budget passed. I think a lot of the work that was done in the strategic plan this year has really been more in the prep phase. It's really been more doing the professional development and getting programs in place, or at least initiated, like iReady and foundations. And now next year, with this budget that was passed, it's chock full of things that I think brings into the execution phase, the real heart of the execution phase of this strategic plan. So I think this board did a good job in helping that budget along and getting it passed. And then lastly, the capital improvements. This year we finished first capital improvement project, and we passed a bond for another that we're very, very excited about. So a lot of good work there. So that's kind of how I see sort of how we contributed and what our highlights have been. Again, not trying to take really any credit for the work that was done, because really it's all been done by the administration and teachers and the superintendent, but just to give a little clarity on how we see our role. And as far as the summer is concerned, I see us as having two main objectives this summer. One is we need to get to work over the summer with our architect and with our facilities committee to move along the design phase of the new capital improvement project. Ms. Lou is going to talk about that timeline in a little bit, give the community update on that. But so I don't want to steal her thunder, but we are in the design phase now of getting those plans up to state for review. So we do need to work a lot this summer to get that design work done. And then second thing is our retreat. We always have a retreat every summer where we kind of get together, try and set our goals as a board for the next year and try and set ourselves up for success for the next year. So we'll definitely be doing a retreat. We weren't able to do one last year because of COVID, so that's something we'll definitely get to work on next. So that's pretty much it from my end. I'm going to pass it around to the rest of the board if they want to make any comments about that stuff or their own comments. And let me just end by saying congratulations ahead of time to all of our graduates, all our students who are moving up. And I just hope everybody enjoys the summer and has a safe, happy, healthy summer. And I'm looking forward to a normal year next year. That's my anticipation, is that we're going to have a mask-free, I hope, social distance-free regular school year. We hope. Of course, we have to follow whatever comes down from on high, but that's the hope. Yeah. So that's it for me. Lori?
Yeah, so congratulations early to everyone who will be receiving great, wonderful things happening in your life. I'll just say that, milestones, if you will, professionally. I also want to commend the district and our senior advisors on a job well done for the prom. Cynthia and I were talking earlier and really sharing how excited and happy, right, Cynthia? That the students were to have a prom. They looked absolutely beautiful, handsome, and they cleaned up very well, especially my son, right? And it was just a joy. Though the weather was a little crazy at first, we still managed to get in some great pictures. And I also wanted to thank the families who supported the prom by having like pre-prom celebrations at their homes. They were so generous and kind and loving to open up their personal space to have so many of our students come, and particularly in that kind of crazy weather. So for all of those parents who did that, you are just the best, and thank you so much. for that. Great prom. Thank you, senior advisors and students. We are so delighted that we're sending you off the way that you deserve, I think, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that a little bit, because before I came here, I know like this, it's always busy this time of year, but I did take the time to look at all the prom pictures, which were absolutely amazing. And the biggest joy for me was to see all those, I'm sorry, I get a little choked up, because I feel, to see those smiles on those kids' faces, and you guys really made that happen, was absolutely amazing. I mean, that's really what people should stop to do, is take a look at all of those pictures and all the events that are happening and see the smiles on those kids' faces. It's just, like, it makes us feel like we're going back in the right direction to normalcy. So thank you really from the bottom of my heart, because it's amazing to see that.
Yes.
All right, great. Therese?
Oh, I'm next. That's hard to follow.
I know you can tell us.
I'll come up with something. No. I want to say thank you to everybody for making this year happen, because it really would not have been successful if we didn't have our administrators and leaders in place to kind of push everything forward. But I think even more so the people who came to work every day, were in the classrooms, were helping the kids get through the day because they were scared and anxious, and this has been such a stressful time. And looking around and seeing faces that are here to stay and going to be tenured and then leaving us, who have made such a huge impact on the kids and our school community over the years and the time that you've been here. It's really what makes Tuckahoe the place it is. It's everybody. It's not just a few people. It's everybody coming together, and I am so impressed with everybody that's in this district that has come to work, the coaches who've made sports happen for the kids, because that is incredibly important for their well-being and rounding out their school experience. And I just want to really thank everybody for doing it as well as could ever be expected and exceeding everybody's expectations. I hope everybody enjoys the summer. Take some time, get away. And when Pete says we're going to be doing a lot of work, he means no more than 9 hours.
That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke.
Yeah, no more than 9 hours.
I promised Therese when she was a candidate that this job wouldn't require any more than 9 hours a month.
Yeah.
Lie.
I lied to her, basically.
So long.
As she reminds me frequently.
Yeah, Laura.
Thanks, Pete. So I'll keep mine brief. I want to also congratulate all our seniors and all our step-up 8th and 5th graders. I also want to congratulate the people here tonight. They're going to be receiving tenure, well-deserved, new appointments, very excited. And for those retiring, we will miss you. As far as my other comments, I just want to thank our president. Mr. Casson has been a phenomenal leader for the board, and Dr. Goodman obviously has led our district through a very challenging year along with her administrator. So I want to just thank everyone for really just putting 110 every day to make this year go as normal as possible. One other thing I just wanted to mention that Pete talked about, which is the facilities and the different committees, that the health and wellness was another one this year that was so instrumental and really highlights our community of just parents and stakeholders that came out, whether they were a virologist, scientist, doctor, and we have to have a wonderful community, and everybody has gotten involved. And we have other new committees that we are going to be, every year we assign, new members, and so that's something I look forward to. And I encourage anybody here today or listening that wants to be involved. That was another goal as a board, is to bring everybody together and get people involved. And we sort of were very quickly forced into that with COVID and bringing out people in the community to help us. So I encourage, we will be announcing committees, and I encourage people to join those, no matter what your background is or what your thought process. You always have everybody in the community has something to offer. So I encourage that, and congratulations again to everyone. And I'll end with that.
Yeah, no, they're great. I didn't say too much about thanking everybody for all the help this year. Kind of assuming that this crowd is the same crowd as last year, but of course, last week, but of course it's not. So those of you who may have missed last week's workshop, I recommend checking it out and playing it back, as last week we did highlight and try to acknowledge all of those folks that helped us get through this year, and there was a lot of them, to Laura's point, and we tried to do our best last week to acknowledge them. So check that out if you haven't seen it. It's pretty good. All right, great, thank you. So we'll move on, and next is comments by our superintendent of schools.
Good evening, Board Trustees, community members, and colleagues. It's great to see all our colleagues here tonight. Last week's board workshop, as Mr. Casson said, highlighted the accomplishments of the past year. They're also highlighted on our social media posts, website, and email blasts. We honored those, teachers, TAs, aides, custodians, CSEA, administrators, all of you, and all our special committees that helped us, who went above and beyond to make this year, in spite of challenges that we had, really a good year. And it really demonstrates when we say Tuckahoe in this together. So thank you. Tonight, we also congratulate some people on very important milestones. Our proposed recipients of tenure are recognized later tonight. Our principals will highlight their accomplishments and contributions to our district. The board and I congratulate these professionals on reaching such a significant milestone in their career. Tenure marks the end of a rigorous probationary period. The evaluation system in Tuckahoe requires non-tenured teachers and teaching assistants to be observed frequently by their administrative team. Supervisors only recommend individuals for tenure based on their direct observation of professional practice and through close collaboration and consultation with them and other leaders. If it is determined that an individual has knowledge, teaching skills, work habits, and commitment needed to successfully impact the academic program, then they are recommended for tenure at the conclusion of their probationary period. But we do not see this as an ending, but as a new beginning. A new stage in an individual's career where they can continue to seize leadership opportunities and advance our district forward. We have so many teacher leaders here tonight and great teaching assistants also. Tonight represents the culmination of a decision that building and district administrators have weighed carefully, knowing that this decision represents a long-term investment. To this evening's recipients, we are deeply aware that the quality of our teachers and staff determines the success of our students and our district as a whole. We have faith in all of you. We know you will continue to learn and grow, and will always put our students first to meet our district's mission, which is to prepare every student for excellence. Additionally, we are honoring retirees. Two of the individuals we honor tonight retired in 2020 and were unable to properly send them off. Ms. Benash and Ms. Johnson are both long-term teachers in our district, beloved by students, community, and staff. Unfortunately, they were not able to come tonight. We also reluctantly bid farewell to Mr. Sandy Garufi, our cherished band teacher. Dr. Linehan will also illuminate about these teachers very soon. I just want to say the board and I thank you for the dedication and commitment you have shown to our students. Your impact will forever be felt, and we wish you a wonderful new beginning with your retirement. First, we will recognize Mr. Linehan will speak on the retirements in the high school. Dr. Linehan, sorry.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to talk about our retirees. First, she's not here tonight, Evelyn Johnson, who managed our media center and library. We want to thank her for nearly 2 decades of managing and organizing the resources of the library, her work in assisting in research with our students, her growth of our ebook collection, and she also was recognized by the New York State Reading Association. Let's give a round of applause for Ms. Johnson. Miss Alice Benesh worked more than 2 decades at the middle school as an English teacher, mostly 8th grade. I want to thank her for her leadership in the curriculum areas. The middle school English curriculum is a tight-knit, woven work of intellectual literature and writing, and basically a lot of it because of her leadership. She thank her for all her wonderful work with her colleagues. For over 2 decades, she provided instruction to our students in the love of learning and literature and writing, so we thank her for that. She was also recognized by the New York State Reading Association for her work in outreach and literary analysis. So congratulations to Ms. Benesh. And he's here tonight, Mr. Sandy Garufi. Come on up, Sandy. I can't tell you enough, this man has spent nearly 2 decades really giving our students the really love of music and learning, his instruction with joy and really an excitement every day has made such a difference to our students. Our graduates now really retain a love of music and the learning of music and musical genres because of Mr. Garufi. So we thank him for that. Also, I want to thank him for his outreach to the community. He's been very active with our students in really bringing the love of music and our music instruction program to the community. And finally, and this is really what he's done for the school culture here and making everybody, this school is it's a family, and he has been an integral part, always very positive, always willing to do above and beyond. An example, prime example, last year when we had 90 graduations, Mr. Garufi played at all 90. He volunteered his time, and I got to tell you, you know, for the students to make a connection, you know, obviously we had limits on who could attend personnel-wise, and you know, he was there. They were sort of happy to see me, but they were thrilled to see Mr. Garufi. So we want to thank, but that's just emblematic of what he's done for our school and our school culture. So he's looking forward to a great retirement. I'm sure we'll hear from him, you know, one way or the other, but we thank him for all he's done for our students and our schools. Mr. Garufi.
Thank you. I don't know if I can make through this, but I'm just going to try. You know, give me a minute. We have a great community. And I say we because my wife and I, our children all graduated from Tuckahoe. My wife retired from Tuckahoe after 24 years as a special education teacher. She was my mentor, and due to special education, enabled her to understand me a lot better. She, you know, behind whatever success I've had, this was my mentor. Going forward, I just was touched so deeply with the students. Most kids had me for 7 years. So you develop a little bit more of a connection with the kids, more personal, you know, connection where, you know, you become a little bit more of an advisor sometimes to the kids. And they put up with my corny jokes and my long stories, but it's touched me deeply, the response I've gotten from the kids. It's very, very difficult for me to get through these last few days. You know, you're taking stuff off the walls, you're packing stuff out. My colleague Edie is beside herself with me, trying to wrestle with that. Seeing my colleagues here, I'm going to miss them. It's time. I'm excited to spend time with my family, and especially with my wife going forward. But Tuckahoe is always a very, very strong part of me. It's who I was. We decided to move into this area because we enjoyed the school system. My wife used to sub, while I had the business, my wife was a substitute teacher before she even was teaching, and she, Bronxville, Eastchester, Tuckahoe, and she says, no, I like Tuckahoe. She says, in fact, we were in the Eastchester school systems for the first 2 or 3 years with our kids, and then we moved into Tuckahoe. specifically to go here. So there's a strong connection. I always used to call it, it's a public-private school. And you get to know the kids, you get to know your colleagues, you get to know your administrators, and it's always a work in progress, and it's always, the morning came, I'm here, I couldn't wait to get in. And it's every day you work with them, work with great colleagues, and just thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with your students, your children, and my students. I'm going to miss them, but, I'm going to be around. So, thank you very much.
We also recognize our Assistant Superintendent for Business tonight, Ms. Lee Liu, on her upcoming retirement. And before I turn this over to Mr. Peter Casson, our Board President, I would like to personally thank Lee for her leadership and knowledge of school finance and her partnership in keeping our district financially strong while meeting the needs of students. Mr. Casson?
Thank you. Yeah, so I want to recognize Ms. Lee Liu as well. Obviously, a lot goes into a school district. Some things are a little less apparent, and running the finances and keeping us financially healthy, keeping facilities going, is maybe not as seen on the outside, but is really, really important. And Ms. Liu, and she's an important part to what we do as a board. She advises us all the time, helps us make decisions, and helps us pass budgets and pass capital improvement projects and get those projects done. So she's been really a great team member to us as a board. We just wanted to acknowledge her service and say thank you for all that you've done for us. I appreciate it very much. And congratulations on your retirement. And if you come on up, I have a little plaque for you from the board. So it reads, presented to Lee Liu in recognition of your exemplary service to the Tuckahoe Union Free School District as the Assistant Superintendent for Business from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2021. Your keen financial acumen and your level-headed approach to budgeting and financial operations have kept our district fiscally healthy. As a result of your efforts, our district is able to continue providing high-level educational programs and improved facilities for all of our students. This is on behalf of the entire Tuckahoe community. Thank you. The Tuckahoe Union School District Board of Education, July 14, 2021.
As always, I'll be brief. I just want to thank the board so much for those kind words, Peter, and to Amy as well, Dr. Goodman. Thank you for those kind words. I just want everyone to know that I am an advocate and a proud champion of public education. I've spent the last 30 years of my life working for and with public education as a parent volunteer, a school board trustee, and the last several years as a school business official. I've found that my career devoted to public education has been both a privilege and a joy. It's been a privilege to be entrusted with the hard-earned funds that are provided by our taxpayers for the education of the children of this community. I've always worked with the purpose to make sure that those funds are spent wisely in the service of our young students. And it's been a joy to know that we are enabling children to fulfill their potentials and preparing them to live a productive life and become good citizens. And many of you may think that I've only worked the last 5 years at Tuckahoe, but in fact, you may not know that I started my career here as a school business official in 2004 when I interned for 2 years in the business office. And now I'm ending my career in Tuckahoe, so my career has come full circle, and I find that very nice. I want to thank the Tuckahoe community for their commitment to public education and their dedication to the young students in this community. It's been a pleasure working on your behalf. And to my amazing business office, Faith, Jen, Karen, and Linda, I appreciate the hard work that you do behind the scenes every day to keep the school district running. purchasing, transportation, payroll, accounting, and so many other projects, large and small. To my facilities team and custodial staff, I respect how hard they work to keep these buildings clean and safe. This has a significant positive effect on both students and staff, and we strive to keep our facilities ready for our students and our staff to enter confidently this building or any building every day. To the teachers and the support staff whose expertise and obvious devotion to their students is so evident, it's another reinforcement in my belief in the value of public education. To the administrators, whose depth of knowledge and generosity of spirit and have provided the basis of a truly collaborative effort to meet our common goals. And to Dr. Goodman, with whom I've begun working only 3 months before the upheaval of the pandemic set in. In these unprecedented times, we got to know each other very quickly. Our work together during this time, striving to make sense of an ever-changing world while at the same time continuing our mission to provide our students with a great education. This collaboration was a wonderful capstone to my career, so thank you. And thank you all.
Later this evening, we also welcome 2 new important members to our team. As we wrap up the year and recognize those who are joining and getting tenure too, and those who are moving on, we continue to build on the positivity as we move forward with our strategic plan. Thank you.
All right, great. All right, next on our agenda is comments by the Assistant Superintendent of Business, but are you commented out, or do you have any
I
comments?
still have more.
All right, great, all right.
I have a few to go. My last board meeting, I have a few things
All
to
right,
say.
great.
The only thing
Always
I-
working, always working.
The only thing I actually did want to comment on was the timeline of the capital project.
Yes,
So would you
yes.
like that now?
Yes.
Okay. So now that the voters have approved the $9.9 million capital project, we move from the planning phase, which we have been doing really for the past year and a half because the pandemic kind of slowed things down in the interim. We move to, and that is the pre-bond planning phase, and that's been completed. We passed our bond, and we move on to the next phase, which is the design phase, as Peter Casson had just said. So we'll start that as soon as possible, as soon as we finish our contract negotiations and signings with our architect, and the estimated time frame for this phase is 4 to 6 months. So sometime in late fall, early winter, we expect to have with the help of the board and the administration and the staff, as well as our planning committee, to have a completed, formal, detailed project list with specifications that we can send to the State Education Department. In the same time, we'll be looking for a construction management team that will help us prepare the detailed plans and make sure they're proper, and they will also work with us throughout the phase of the construction. Once the plans go to SED in late fall, early winter, they will review them and ask for any feedback if necessary. And the current time frame for SED review and approval can run as much as 6 to 9 months. However, in the past, SED has allowed for expedited review, so we will hope that that's still the same now. And if that's the case, it can be shortened to maybe 3 months. So that brings us to spring of next year. At that point, once SED approves the plans, we would go and submit we would advertise for bids from the 4 main contractors for the project. And the whole bidding process takes between 1 to 2 months. And at that point in time, which is probably the spring, once the board awards contracts to the approved and recommended construction workers, then we can begin construction. So we can begin construction when everything's awarded and approved as soon as possible, if it allows, based on the school requirements. But the heavy construction will probably begin in the summer of 2022 if all goes according to plan. And then, according to the architect, a realistic time frame for the entire project to be complete would be the following summer.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. One little caveat to that, although I don't want to overpromise. I remember Russ, our architect, was saying that the work on the field, the Cottle field, might be able to get started earlier, sooner. He's going to submit that, I believe, to SED separately, I think he said. And because it's not heavy construction, it's a field, we might be able to get that review done more quickly and get that work going, and maybe even have that field in place by next spring. So again, I don't want to overpromise that, but that is the hope. So the rest of the work, the heavy work, likely won't start until the summer, and probably will take almost the entire school year till the next summer. But the Cottle field, we're hoping will be started sooner and will be done a lot sooner. It's going to be a fairly fast job, at least the field portion of it.
And it's a very straightforward type
Yeah.
of approval and design, so hopefully that will be the case.
Yep. So, all right, great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right. So that brings us to our first recognition of the audience for agenda items only. Does anybody have anything? Go ahead, Susan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Mealy. I'm the PTA president. Thank you, board, administrators, and faculty and staff for helping the PTA do what we did this year. We don't work in a vacuum. We can only do what we do with all of your support, and we're very, very grateful that despite all you were dealing with, you still made time to talk to us and staff and oversee our initiatives throughout the year. It really helps our children and families in the community, so it's really nice to work so collaboratively. The PTA, on behalf of the PTA, I want to congratulate the teachers who are receiving tenure tonight. We're very excited, and it's a nice new beginning on the heels of the retirees, and we wish you all the best, Ms. Liu, Mr. Garufi, Ms. Johnson, and Ms. Benash. Our Community and School Relations Committee will be issuing donations to the district in honor of the retirees. We're seeking recommendations from them as to where they would like to see the funds allocated. And if I may reveal, I think for Ms. Liu, we're looking at making a donation towards the new entrepreneurship program in terms of some equipment that can be used, since it seems to be a fitting cause for Ms. Liu. And so we'll announce the others as we get more ideas for that. I also want to thank my whole entire PTA board. I keep telling you guys, but really, you only see me, but there are really like 60 of us. And, one unsung committee on our PTA is the Communications Committee, which doesn't plan events, but they announce every single thing we do. But I'm hoping everybody has a good summer, and we're looking forward to welcoming a fresh batch of volunteers starting technically July 1st. We have a lot of newcomers, so we're very happy to have that. Also, some other things that are going on. Our room rep committee at Cottle just threw a luau for the 5th grade graduates. That used to be an activity that was run by individual parents, and the children were charged a fee, but it's now a PTA event that's free to participate. And it was really nice to have the entire grade present for that, or close to it. And the room rep committee is also working on some graduation festivities for both the 5th graders and the kindergartners. And similarly, our middle school committee and high school committee are also working on graduation festivities. Some of these are tip-top secret, so I'm not going to tell you anything, but we're happy to support the celebration. Our PARP committee, which is Pick a Reading Partner, hosted the principal read aloud at Cottle this past Thursday, and it was very, very nice of Mr. Marash and Mr. Kilgallen to give up their Thursday night to read stories to grades K to 5. We loved it, teddy bears and all. Our dance committee, I just want to give a particular shout out to, because they've been keeping the dance program alive all year through virtual rehearsals. And so all the children who've joined in, and it's about 90 of them from grades K to 12, have been learning their steps at home in their living room. And as we speak, they're being filmed in a recital in the auditorium, full costume and all. And thanks to Dr. Goodman's support, we've been able to bring that home for them, and are selling DVDs and flash drives to families so they can have a recording of this. So instead of having the parents present, we have a videographer that we hired. So that's a big shout out. And then also our Ways and Means Committee is still accepting orders for school supplies for Cottle. If anybody would like to join that program, we'd be happy to provide supplies on your child's desk when they return to school in September. And also, our yearbook for Cottle is wrapping up. It's actually at the printer now and will be available the last week of school for distribution. And a lot of work went into that. I hope everybody enjoys that souvenir of their Cottle experience. And then lastly, the Cultural Arts Committee of the PTA is sponsoring Museums with Marissa on June 22nd, where the 6th grade social studies students of Mr. Moore will get to visit the Met and learn about ancient Egypt with our resident museum educator expert and PTA co-chair, Marissa Horowitz-Jaffe. So we're really happy to be a part of all of these things. I probably have left something out because we've been doing a lot, but just want to wish everybody a great summer and thank everybody again for a wonderful school year with lots of support for our efforts. Have a great night.
Great, thank you. All right, great, thank you, Susan. The PTA has been really awesome this year. And they had the same challenges, and they still were able to provide our district with a lot of great stuff, so thank you for that. All right, next is our consent agenda. So be resolved to approve consent agenda items 2 through 5. Do I have a motion? Therese, second. Lori, any discussion? All in favor? All right. Brings us to business of the board. Approve an MOA. Resolved that the Board of Education of Tuckahoe Union Free School District hereby approves the MOA dated June 8th, 2021, by and between the district and the Tuckahoe Administrators Association, and authorizes the superintendent to execute the same. Do I have a motion? Therese, second. Laura, any discussion? All in favor? Next, approve an MOA. Resolved that the Board of Education of the Tuckahoe Union Free School District hereby approves the MOA dated June 8th, 2021, by and between the district and the Tuckahoe Teachers Association, and authorizes the superintendent to execute the same. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Therese, any discussion? All in favor? And also approve an MOA. Whereas negotiations have been ongoing between the bargaining team for the Tuckahoe Union Free School District and the bargaining team for the Civil Service Employees Association, Local 1000 AFS CME, AFL-CIO, Westchester County Local 860, Tuckahoe Union Free School District Unit for a successor to the 2017-2020 agreement between the parties, and whereas those negotiations have resulted in a tentative agreement contained in a memorandum of agreement dated May 26, 2021, which has been ratified by the membership of the unit, and whereas the Board of Education of the Tuckahoe Union Free School District has reviewed the terms of the memorandum of agreement and finds that a settlement consistent with the terms contained therein is in the best interest of the district. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Tuckahoe Union Free School District hereby approves and ratifies the terms of the aforesaid memorandum of agreement, and hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools and the board president to execute a collective bargaining agreement consistent with the terms thereof. Do I have a motion? Lori, Cynthia, second. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, great. Next, approve a fund balance. Resolve that Tuckahoe Union Free School District retain the amount not to exceed $1,477,064 of the 2020-2021 year-end fund balance as unappropriated fund balance for the 2021-2022, appropriate $1,965,423 of the 2020-2021 year-end fund balance to reduce taxes in the 2021-2022 budget, increase the tax certiorari reserve fund by an amount not to exceed $750,000, increase the employee benefit accrued liability reserve fund by an amount not to exceed $25,000, increase the retirement contributions reserve fund by an amount not to exceed $25,000, and increase the capital reserve by an amount not to exceed $500,000, and increase the retirement contributions reserve subfund by an amount not to exceed $150,000. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Therese, any discussion? So this is just basically allocating the excess that we have after the budget, this school year is now over,
Right, the
essentially.
first two numbers are the ones that were approved through the budget
They were
process.
in the budget, to
4%
balance the budget.
As well as the
Yeah.
appropriated fund balance.
Right, okay. All in favor? All right. And approve another fund balance. Resolve that Tuckahoe Union Free School District approve a transfer not to exceed $11,650 from the employee benefit accrued liability reserve and increase budget code I got to read that? I guess I do. A2110130020100 in an amount not to exceed $11,650 for the purpose of paying accrued benefits. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Lori, all in favor? All right, now to the good stuff. Personnel recommendations. This is where we're going to confer tenure. Do you want to just hand it over to you, or do you want to go one by one? How do you want to do it?
Well, what we're going to do tonight is, I already gave you guys my congratulations, but your principals are going to speak about each of you before the board votes on the personnel agenda. So Mr. Morash seems to be ready and eager.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be in attendance tonight as both Laureen Colasaco and Jennifer DeFabia are given tenure by the Tuckahoe Union Free School District, and it is a pleasure to work with both of these dedicated professionals on a daily basis. First, Ms. Colasaco. At Cottle, Ms. Colasaco has worked with different lead teachers providing support and teaching lessons in the core subject areas to students who have a variety of abilities. Ms. Colasaco is an outstanding teaching assistant who always collaborates supportively and productively with classroom teachers and who always shares insights with all of her colleagues to inform and instruct for the benefit of all. I've observed her classroom performance during these lessons in which learning objectives varied based on the goals of individual students. Ms. Colasaco has outstanding classroom management skills, and she supports the social and emotional needs of her students with respect and positive encouragement. Ms. Colasaco has an excellent rapport with her students, and working collaboratively with special education and general education teachers at Cottle, she has successfully used a variety of approaches to accommodate different learning styles among her own students and to provide additional support as needed to reach those students at all individual levels of ability. We are indeed extremely fortunate to have such a talented teaching assistant as part of our team at the William E. Cottle School, and we congratulate Ms. Colasaco on her tenure. Ms. Jennifer DeFabia. In addition to the past 4 years as a teaching assistant, Ms. Jennifer DeFabia has served the community of Cottle in several capacities, including as a one-to-one aide and a substitute teacher. Over the last 3 years, I have observed Ms. DeFabia's classroom performance during which she presented and clarified content very effectively and used varied strategies to reach all of her students. She has worked seamlessly with various lead teachers and additional team members. Flow and teamwork with Ms. DeFabia are outstanding. She motivates students using positive reinforcement, differentiates her delivery and instruction, and maximizes her teaching time so effectively. Most importantly, Ms. DeFabia always has the best interests of all of her students at heart. Ms. DeFabia also has outstanding classroom management skills, and she supports the social and emotional needs of her students with respect and positive encouragement and reinforcement. We are so fortunate to have Ms. DeFabia at Cottle, and we congratulate her on her tenure.
Dr. Linehan now will, well, we're not voted yet, but we're the potential conferred tenure, which we know will be forthcoming. He will present the faculty.
Ready and eager.
He jumped ahead of you.
That's all right. I'm used to it. Well, it's my pleasure to recommend Mr. Pat O'Connell for tenure. Pat is a middle school teacher, social studies. He's now currently teaching seventh grade. And basically, he has the perfect demeanor and personality for middle school students. He basically presents his lessons in a conversational tone, is really disarming, and basically has expectations that the results are going to come. He's a lover of history and social studies. Pat and I are always talking about what to learn, what we can do. And he's a great teacher because he's a wonderful learner. And that's really so significant. And he wants to get better. So it's really my pleasure to recommend him. His delivery of instruction, when I go by his room, I'm outside, it's like he's having a conversation with students. It's really amazing. And it's so relaxing, I think, and it's very important from a social emotional point for middle school students to feel that way. So, and he knows his content. He uses technology, gets students involved very actively. He's a wonderful, wonderful educator, and we're so fortunate to have him in this district. So, Patrick, come on up. Congratulations. Our next candidate, which I'm so privileged to recommend, is Danielle Iverson's. I think the comments from the board about the prom say so much about who she is with Miss Liaise. I mean, the meetings we had in my office, maybe a couple hundred this year, she has been for the senior class this year and the year before, really the wind beneath their wings. There's no question about it. Last year we were all home. Again, conversations about how to make their senior experience just as best as they could. Her heart is into it. She cares so much about the students, and she's also very operationally sound. Anything she comes up with, she always thinks about the implementation. This is a great idea. How can we do it? How can we be successful? Which is really a wonderful attribute to have if someone is going to lead like that. Her instruction, her rapport with the seniors, obviously you couldn't lead. When you see the prom pictures, you see the rapport that she has with the students. So they follow her. Her delivery of instruction, first of all, unlike Mr. O'Connell, she's time-driven. She's ready for 17-year-olds. You've got to get to college. You've got to be ready. So it's a little bit different at the high school, appropriately so. The clock is always running. There's always demands and expectations because next year you're going to be a freshman in college, and the students respond to that. Her love of literature, she's been recognized by New York State for the Reading Association for her work in literacy outreach. But more importantly, she loves literature. She loves to teach writing, and that comes down to our students all the time. So, Ms. Iverson, we're so fortunate to have you. Please come up. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, thank you for those great comments. Now, let's make it official.
I just love it. Love it.
All right. Resolved that the Board of Education, on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Laureen Colasaco in the teacher assistant tenure area effective September 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Therese, all in favor? I know we don't need any discussion. We'll just go right to it. All right. Resolved that the Board of Education, on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Jennifer DeFabia in the teaching assistant tenure area effective September 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Lori, all in favor? All right. Resolved, the Board of Education, on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Danielle Iverson in the English tenure area effective September 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion? Lori, second. Laura, all in favor? And resolved that the Board of Education, on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Patrick O'Connell in the Social Studies tenure area effective September 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Therese, all in favor? Congratulations to all of you. Well deserved. Thank you. All right. And then lastly, we have to accept our personnel recommendation, which is a grouping, but we are going to recognize two particular appointees. Should I just, you want to just vote on that first?
Yeah, let's vote on it first
Okay.
this time.
Resolve the Board of Education of Tuckahoe Union Free School District approves personnel action items A through H as outlined below. Do I have a motion? Lori, second. Cynthia, all in favor? All right, great. We're going to have a few comments about some of those appointments.
Such a great night tonight. A great way to end the school year with this board meeting. First, I would like to welcome Beata Groboski. She's here tonight. She will serve as our district treasurer. Ms. Grabowski has been a school bookkeeper and more recently a treasurer and will bring a wealth of experience and knowledge to the position. Her depth of experience will provide expertise in all functions of a school district business office. She has very strong analytical skills and a very strong work ethic. We are happy to welcome you to the Tuckahoe Union Free School District. And now, it is with great enthusiasm that we welcome Dr. Catherine Kate Sweeney for the position of Director of Special Education. Dr. Sweeney is an accomplished psychologist and school special education administrator with over 20 years of experience working in public schools. She is an advocate and champion of students with special needs and learning differences, and a highly respected member of her school community. And even outside of Tuckahoe, I have seen her work, and she's very well known in the field and a leader. She has helped to build programs where students of all abilities are meaningfully included with their typical peers and collaborates with all stakeholders to ensure that every student is well served. Dr. Sweeney is a collaborative administrator who takes the time to build successful relationships. She understands students, and she works tirelessly so everyone works as a team to help ensure the success of each and every student. Dr. Sweeney has a proven track record as an exceptionally organized and detail-oriented administrator, and as such has been able to effectively plan with her administration, teachers, and staff. She has proven the importance of designing and implementing successful and effective student-centered programs. With her expertise as a special education administrator and school psychologist, she understands the fundamentals behind teaching and learning. She provides support combined with strong leadership and dedication to children, teachers, and families. And most importantly, she really believes in the students, and they respond to that. We are confident that Dr. Sweeney will be a valuable and effective school administrator and special education leader, and that she will lead our district with thoughtful and meaningful programs designed around the needs of our students. We are very excited that Dr. Sweeney will be joining the Tuckahoe team. She would like to say a few words. I thought you said you wanted to say a few words. Sure. Okay.
I just want to say I am so grateful and humbled and honored to be given this position and this charge to really direct a district. I know I see some of my teaching assistants are here tonight. I can't wait to meet them in my special education world. I have compassion. I have dedication. I cannot wait to meet my students, my families. I've already met some parents. I'm excited to continue to work with you and work with the board and my fellow administrators to make sure, like you said, Mr. Kason, that this is a district of excellence. I committed to excellence for each and every one of our students. So I'm really happy to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Congratulations to both of you. All right, great. So that's really all we have tonight. It was a lot of stuff. It's good stuff too. Really a lot to celebrate. Congratulations to our retirees. Congratulations to our new appointees and all those who made tenure. Really exciting night. Good way to end the year, like you said. A really good way. Last item on the agenda is second recognition of the audience. If anybody has anything they want to say about anything at all. Any takers? No? All right. Okay.
I thought they might want to.
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely, yep. I didn't realize we had an overflow room.
We've never had that.
It sounds fancy.
Use it.
Yeah.
First time we've used it.
It's like the green room, right?
We had that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Jelli. I certainly don't mean to be a buzzkill. I do want to congratulate all of the teachers, the new hires, and especially the accomplished career of Mr. Sandy Garufi. Congratulations. I just want to thank Dr. Goodman and the board for your advocacy and your transparency and your combined effort to contact the governor and the commissioners, Rosa and Zucker on June 3rd, as well as your swift follow-through to unmask our children while outside. This was a huge success. I really appreciate your efforts. I did want to share with you an update that was as of June 10th, a total of 24 school districts within New York State, some of them on Long Island and others upstate as close as Wappingers, Arlington, Warwick, with their superintendents, their boards of education, teachers, and parents. They have joined forces individually and collectively with their adjacent districts to stand up to the governor's threats and intimidations, and have requested with Dr. Zucker to provide the data and the science to support the universal masking of our children. Their letters have shared that masks are causing anxiety and mental anguish, as well as physical issues such as nosebleeds and difficulty breathing for our children. Their letters have also expressed a greater threat to our students is the psychological damage caused by these overreaching requirements, and as such, they have urged the governor to grant school boards immediate authority to change to the districts themselves to change the mask guidance. My fear is that children will ultimately be treated differently in the educational setting, as expressed by the governor himself at his press conference, and if these mandates are allowed to continue, it is in furtherance of the mandatory vaccination of our children. And while some may think it's silly to continue speaking to this issue with only 2 weeks remaining in school, the bigger issue that exists here is what the immediate unmasking would mean to our governor. Why won't he unmask our children? The unmasking of our children is one step closer to COVID not being considered an emergency any longer. If it is no longer considered an emergency, then they can no longer continue to push the vaccination, because it is only approved for emergency use. Right now, they are fast-tracking these vaccines for FDA approval. On May 7th, they applied for approval for those 16 and older. Intention was also expressed earlier this month for FDA approval in adolescents 12 to 15 years of age. And according to Assemblyman David DiPietro of the 147th District, he informed that our governor said all New York children must be vaccinated in order to attend both public and private schools age 12 and older once the vaccines are FDA approved, as early as August 2021. And he will also push that same mandate for children 5 and older as early as January of 2022. It is not an unrealistic expectation to think this could be in our near future. I am here today to ask the board and Dr. Goodman to consider maintaining the current remote option for our children should we find ourselves faced with the reality of a vaccine mandate. We are not anti-vaxxers. We are anti-mandate. I would also like to ask to request that our district unite with neighboring districts to ask for the science and to ask for the discretion to unmask our children based on our local data. As of June 10th, there are 2 active cases in Tuckahoe with no new cases. There are 0 cases in Bronxville and 3 cases in Eastchester with no new cases. The Westchester County Department of Health has confirmed 29 new cases and 333 active cases in the entire county. I am asking our board and superintendent to keep advocating for our children, as we may be forced to make a quick decision in August, and quite frankly, we don't have enough time to address what may be coming. We have no long-term data documented the effects of this vaccine on our children, and it seems the risks on this may far outweigh any potential benefit at this point. If this is not the time to unmask our children, then when exactly will be that time? If it is not the time now, our kids will definitely be in masks in September, or it will be a vaccine mandate with children being forced to leave school or the state. Please continue fighting for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Mrs. Vasquez. I just want to congratulate everybody here tonight that got, the retirement, and Just wanted to say that before I just wanted to speak just a little bit about what Lisa just said. My son, as we know, was here last month, and I had said that he was on remote since December. I just wanted to point out regarding the remote, I don't know if you're aware, but if parents decide to homeschool, regarding the conditions for September, we need an answer because homeschooling paperwork has to be submitted by July 1st, and the curriculum as well. That is an option for some parents who may want to homeschool. So I know that we really haven't had like an answer if that's going to continue because of the circumstances, but that it definitely has been an option that I've been thinking about, and I'm sure other parents have been thinking about it as well. So if we can try to expedite getting some sort of an answer from the state if we're going to be doing remote still, or if it's an option, because I really can't wait until the end of August or September to start the paperwork and the process, because it is a lot. So that's all I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. So, a couple of things. Thank you. We'll definitely talk as a board. We listened very intently to what you said, both of you. And I also, the remote option, again, is up to the state, but I'll keep in touch with everybody on that. I understand how people feel, but we also, the homeschooling option, if anybody wanted that, we would help them also through that process. Because right now for next year, what is available is homeschooling and home instruction. Depending upon if a child had some reason not to be in school, let's say a health reason or something like that, they might be able to have home instruction, which for elementary is 1 hour a week, and for middle school is 2 hours a week. It's not ideal. But also homeschooling is an option, and it'll be out of the pupil personnel office, who you met tonight, Dr. Sweeney. So we will keep in touch with that. And again, the Health and Wellness Committee did meet about the masking. We could talk as a board about that too. But, we have sent letters to the governor. I feel like we moved that a little bit forward because the timing seems to coincide with our letter. So I want to take some credit.
Yeah. It's like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's our letter that pushed it over.
Yes, we did. We sent it on Tuesday, and by Friday, there it was. So, anyway.
I can sense your frustration, and I get it, especially when you just said, that you want a clear, concise, timely answer from the state. That's not what we've seen all year long. So it's frustrating, it really is. So we'll continue to advocate for what we think is best for the district. We'll continue to meet with our Health and Wellness Committee, and we'll continue to push as much as we can. But at the end of the day, we do have to follow the rules, and you guys know that. But we'll keep talking about it, looking at the numbers, advocating. We'll be doing all of that, for sure. We appreciate your concerns, and we appreciate your comments, definitely.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Anybody else in the waiting room? Is that it?
Could you imagine if there's like 15 more?
All right, so we're going to close out the public portion of the meeting. We're actually going back into executive session, 9 hours. For a little bit more work. So do I have a motion to adjourn the public meeting? Lori, second? Second? Laura? All in favor? All right, do I open the executive session here or inside there? Okay, so I have a motion to open executive session. Therese, second. Laura, all in favor? All right, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Thank you, appreciate it. And enjoy the summer.
Enjoy some cupcakes.
Yeah, there's cupcakes back there.